Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and today I'm gonna drop some science on you. Okay, there's I think there's a misconception broadly throughout the XRP community about how Ripple believes the value of XRP is going to increase, at least as it pertains to their specific activities and how they're building specifically on top of the XRP ledger. I think there's this misunderstanding that if banks just start using XRapid, which of course uses XRP, that they call this flipping the switch within our community, and suddenly magically the price of XRP just blows up. I'm going to break it down for you. Before we get going here, though, if you would please delicately tap that thumbs up. Somebody in the comments in the last video, they told me they smashed it. I'm telling you, do not smash it. You're going to break the thing, and if you don't have insurance, the repairs, it's going to be really expensive, so just delicately tap that. And if you don't hate every word that's coming out of my mouth, please consider subscribing, because I really appreciate the support. And I'll tell you real quick before I get into the content. I promise I'll be brief. I started this channel it was basically at the bottom of the crypto bear market. It was mid-December. And so, as far as I know, I'm the newest XRP YouTuber out there, hence the small channel. And plus, nobody was paying attention at the bottom of the bear market. Nobody was paying attention to crypto. At least not like they are now. And so, anyway, there's been a lot more subscribers to my channel lately, even though it's obviously still very small. I want to send out, first of all, a very genuine thanks to all of you. And second of all, I'm not, without explaining the whole backstory, I want to be clear that even though my content is serious, of course, my name is not serious. It is a joke. I have a sense of humor. And when I was joining Twitter towards the end of 2017, I was trying to come up with a name for myself, just, a handle on Twitter. And I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and we were kind of throwing some names back and forth, and nothing was really sticking. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she said, Moon Lambo. And then we just started cracking up. We're like, this is the stupidest freaking name that makes fun of all the vernacular that's occurring within the crypto sphere. And I was like, yes, that is it. I am Moon Lambo. And it is so stupid. That said, I'm actually thinking about changing it, because as the channel grows, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Should I change it, or should I just be really stubborn and keep it because it is funny? You tell me. But I feel like more people would be more inclined to click on my video if I didn't have such a silly name. But I don't know. I'm not sure. You tell me what you think. All right, let's delve into this. Now, here's what I did. I actually, and I don't normally do this when I do what I'm about to tell you. I mentioned it up front. I took notes for what I'm about to talk about. Usually I just speak off the cuff, because I feel like if I don't do that, things could start to sound too rigid. But I did take some notes because I didn't want to forget any of the points that I think are really important to make on this particular topic. So if I need to take a moment to read through this, and it's a little bit more off than some of my other videos, please forgive me. I'm just trying to help you provide content and hopefully valuable information. So as I started off the video with the misconception that somehow magically, and I've seen people tweet this out, seriously, when banks start using XRapid, which uses XRP, bam, the price is just going to go up. And so I was asked, what are the mechanics behind that? I was just politely asking them, what's that mechanically mean? Okay, so there's this transfer happening. Who do you think the intermediary is? Where's the money coming from? And why is it pushing the price up? And by and large, people don't seem to have an answer for that. And I do have an answer for that, and I'm going to share it with you. Okay, so there's retail speculators. That's the part that they're talking about, even if people generally don't understand the mechanics behind it. If the way the system works is, in order for banks to be able to use XRP as a bridge currency for cross-border payments, XRP has to have value. It's not that banks use it and then XRP gains value. No, it wouldn't work that way. There has to already be actual value within the within the asset, XRP itself. And so where does that value come from? Well, it's not backed by anything. It's not a stable coin. It's not backed by the US dollar or any other fiat currency. It derives its actual value from humans like you and me that put money in it, believing that other businesses are going to actually use it. That is speculation, and that is perfectly fine. It's a speculative venture at this point. Now, luckily, XRP, as we know, it is the first cryptocurrency to be used in the commercial production of anything, thanks to XRapid. And it's the only one to this point. Even in 2019, almost halfway through the year, it's still the only one, and that's spectacular. And so I bought into it, understanding, wow, so there's an actual use case, there's real utility for this, and the more people that realize this, the more people are going to buy it, the more scarce it becomes, which would push up market price. So that's the speculative side of how this works, right? And that's fair. And there's going to be a lot more people coming in. We've got a tiny asset class with crypto as a whole. And XRP has its little piece of it, and I think it's going to be substantially larger in the future. That's why I'm willing to put in my money on this high-risk speculative investment. That's what I'm doing, and I totally get exactly what I'm doing. Now, there's more to it than that, though. And here's why I have this guy pulled up. This is Bob Way. This is his Twitter page. This guy was the 10th employee Ripple ever hired. 10th employee ever. And he doesn't work at the company anymore. I can't remember when he quit. It wasn't on bad terms or anything. He loves Ripple and he loves XRP. It was, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 years ago or whatever it was. But since then, he's been speaking with 2 XRP YouTubers that I'm aware of and some other people as well. But he spoke with Alex Cobb, and he had a video, I don't know, it was over an hour. And then he spoke up with Brad Kimes here, and I pulled his page up now. He's a YouTuber also about very pro XRP. He calls his channel Investment Perspectives, and you can see, if you want to see how his Twitter name's written out, it's Backup Bradley. If you want to see how it's written, feel free to look at the screen if you want to check the guy out. Seems like a real nice, lively guy. I've never interacted with him or Bob Way. But Backup Bradley here, Brad Kimes, he had Bob Way on his channel a little over a month ago, and there was over a 2-hour segment. And so there's the whole thing was highly interesting, but I understand most people don't have time to sit down that long. But there was one piece that I was listening to this and I was like, I want to share this with my subscribers, a piece that I took away. And it's the content I'm talking about right now. But I have information from Bob Way about how Ripple sees this whole thing playing out, how it sees the ecosystem growing. And being that he was an actual employee, like, this is, it's coming straight from a guy that was at Ripple. And I think that's valuable because me, having been in the XRP community for over a year and a half at this point, I remember being in XRPchat.com and talking to people on Twitter, and we're speculating about what's this actually going to look like. You're going to need market makers to facilitate this. You're going to need exchanges to participate with XRapid in order to provide the liquidity for these transactions, and what's this look like? And so we were speculating, and I figured out for me what I thought made sense, and I wasn't the first person to come up with this. It's just I read through what other people had come up with, and I was like, yeah, that one makes sense. And sure enough, I heard Bob Way say it, and I was like, this is another instance where I feel validated. And again, I'm not taking credit for coming up with this concept, but I read through the way people think that things could unfold, and I was like, yeah, that one makes a ton of sense. And so here's the concept, and let me start looking at my notes right now here. First of all, Bob stated, and this should be, in case you guys hadn't thought about this, XRP is not needed for domestic payment transactions. There's no need for a fiat-to-fiat conversion. If for instance, imagine you're sending to somebody that banks at the same bank as you. Internally, the bank would just debit and credit the accounts as necessary, right? There's no need to, have, okay, here's the transaction of my cash, and for some reason, XRP's bought and then sold back for what purpose? And then it goes to the person you want to send the money to. Of course, that's not useful. XRP is designed to be used as a bridge currency. So where is it useful? And the answer is XRP, to start, you want to go for the low-hanging fruit. And actually, David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, he's the one that used that exact phrase. They're looking for the low-hanging fruit to start. Yes, maybe they want to take over the world, and have as big a piece of the pie as possible and utilize XRP in that capacity as much as possible. But to start, they're looking for exotic corridors. And what does that mean? Corridors where there's a lot of intermediaries. So the way that the correspondent banking system works is it's basically a chain of bilateral banking relationships. And so if you don't have, for instance, if you're in the U.S. and your bank doesn't have a direct relationship with a bank in Thailand, well, then you can't really conduct business. So then maybe you have to go, I don't know who has a banking relationship in between, so I'll just make it up. But say it was Mexico. I'm just completely making that up. Then you'd have to have money go from the U.S. to Mexico and then to Thailand, right? And so the more exotic the currency, though, the more of those intermediaries. So instead of 3 banks involved, you could have some where there could be, I've heard of upwards of, I can't remember if I heard like 7 or 8 or maybe more than that. Maybe the number's 14. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, but the point is, it's a lot, and there's a lot of friction involved as a result of this, and it's not fun. There's a better way to do this, right? But to start, Ripple made a very strategic decision. They're going after those corridors that have the most friction. So to start with XRapid, they've got their XRapid partners that are in specifically the Philippines and Mexico. So those are the two biggest ones right now, because that's where basically the most money, and with the most friction, the most money is coming out of the U.S. and being sent, and huge fees are being taken out, right? And we all understand that. The huge fees are being taken out by the middlemen. And that's why Xcurrent, especially in conjunction with XRapid, can really minimize that. And we understand there can be savings of upwards of 70%. We know that whole spiel, right? Okay, so that's what they're going after first. Now, what Ripple wants, though, big picture, Ripple wants low volatility, slowly increasing XRP price over time. Low volatility and steadily creeping up price of XRP. And there are reasons for that. Now, mind you, I know this may not happen any freaking time soon, because we're in such a nascent state of this entire asset class. But here's why. The way Ripple views this, and this is directly from Bob Way, and I'm paraphrasing in my own words. Feel free to go in and watch the 2-hour video if you want. It was really entertaining. If you have the time, I actually encourage you to watch it after this video, and I will link below to that video from Brad Kimes interviewing Bob Way. But market makers don't profit from XRP price increases. That's not their business model, okay? They make money on two-way payment flows from one end of a corridor to the other. It's the buying and selling of the asset, okay? Market makers help to ensure that there's sufficient liquidity within the market, within the asset class, right? Specifically with XRP. Market makers are happy to make money at any XRP price. To them, really, it doesn't matter if XRP is worth 5 cents, $5, or $500. To them, it doesn't matter, because they're not buying it as a speculative investment to later sell it. They're buying it so that they can make money on the transaction fees, because that's their actual business model. There are people like you and me that do speculate, and that's great too, because all that's going to do is, especially as more people get involved, that'll drive the price up, sure. So what's this going to look like? So Ripple wants to increase competition among market makers, because in order to participate, and this is key, in order to participate in the XRP ecosystem in this capacity, in order to be a market maker, they have to purchase XRP. Market makers do hold XRP. They buy it, and then they sell it, and then they buy back what they just sold. And they're making money on fees along the way. And if they're not making money on fees along the way, then they have maybe they need to tweak their business model or something, right? Because that's how they. And you know, there are market makers in other asset classes. Understand this. The concept of market makers, this is not new or unique to crypto. It's just being developed now in crypto in this nascent asset class. And that's what's so amazing. You're seeing it unfold before your very eyes. And there are market makers right now. And as things develop, there will be more and more market makers. Because think about it, if there are market makers out there right now and they're making profit, and then Mr. Businessman B comes along, another guy, and he's like, hey, Mr. Businessman A is making money doing this. I can do this too, and I can do it through a different corridor perhaps. And then they have to buy a bunch of XRP. What happens when they buy XRP? Well, it decreases the supply, and and what's that do? I mean, it's simple supply and demand here, right? And they do have to hold it. They absolutely are specifically holding the XRP, because again, if they sell it, then they're buying back what they just sold, or else they can't conduct business. And that's the part that I don't think people get. And so as that happens, as it decreases supply, that will slowly drive the XRP price up over time. And that's the utility phase that I'm talking about. It doesn't mean that XRP price won't sway in extremely volatile manners prior to that taking hold. By the time the utility phase takes hold, I don't know what the price of XRP will be. Probably a lot higher than this, because there are going to be more retail speculators like you and me jumping in. And that will drive the price up. So I don't know if that means that it'll be trading in a realm of dollars or tens of dollars or more. I don't know. I totally think those price points are completely conceivable. So we'll just have to see how it unfolds. But understand that just banks using this, that's not what drives it. It's largely the way Ripple intends for this to work is for market makers to jump in and do it. And if there's money to be made somewhere in your business, man, then you're going to do it. Exactly. So that's exactly how it's going to work. And let me check my notes here. I think that's the vast majority of what I wanted to say specifically, at least that I wrote down. Transactions. Forgive me, just reading through it, make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's put a lot of money in. Yep, okay. Yeah, so it's going to, yeah, that's it. So on that topic. But I want you to understand also, and this is like the supplementary information to this, I wanted to talk about market cap and the money that's actually going in here, because I think there's a misconception here, and I probably need to make a video about, I could talk about this at length, like seriously, it probably deserves its own video. I briefly mentioned it in a past video, but in terms of market cap, understand what market cap is. It's the current market rate times total supply. That's what it is historically in traditional markets, in the stock market. Total supply times the market rate, just the current price of XRP. And the crypto sphere here is doing something weird. You had CoinMarketCap that first started tracking the market cap of cryptocurrencies way back in the day. Now I've got Live Coin Watch up here. And I want to tell you, and I'm happy to make a video on this if you guys want to learn why. If you want, drop it in the comments below. Maybe I'll make it sooner than later. But these sites are calculating market cap incorrectly. They're absolutely doing it incorrectly. What they're doing is they're taking what they're calling the circulating supply. So if you look on the screen here, I've got XRP pulled up. They've got the circulating supply at 42 billion-ish, and then they times it the current market rate, which is what? Right now it's about 44.5 cents. And then you get the market cap of 18.8 billion. That is absolutely incorrect. Forbes does it right. Here's ForbesCrypto.com. They took the total supply, which is just a little under 100 billion, and then they times it by the current market rate. And the market cap, as a result, is 44 billion. And if you guys want an explanation of why one is right over the other, again, just let me know. I'm happy to make a video on this. I thoroughly understand it, and I love sharing the bits that I do know about crypto in general. I love sharing with people, and that's a big part of why I'm doing this channel. I also don't know everything. I'm not a know-it-all, so if you guys know something that you want to share with me, please. I love learning, especially if it's about crypto and XRP. I absolutely love it. But consider this. Real easy example, in case you really want to understand it. So let's say, I'm just going to make this up, this is silly, but let's just say there's 5 basketballs on the entire planet, and that's it. 5 basketballs, and that is it. Somebody's got them, and I want them. I want them all. And this guy's like, yeah, I don't want these basketballs. I'll sell them for $1 each, right? So I buy 5 basketballs for $1 each. What's the market cap? Well, you take the total supply, which is 5 basketballs, times the last sale price, which would be the current market rate, and you get a market cap of $5. Now, let's say, because I've got all the basketballs in the entire planet, and somebody comes along and is like, whoa, those basketballs are sweet, can I have one? I was like, nope, you can't have my basketballs, not any of them. Not unless you're going to pay a really high price. And then the guy's like, all right, I'll give you $100 for one basketball, because I'm an idiot, and I really want that basketball. I'm like, all right, I'm taking your money now. So then I take the $100, I give him one of my basketballs, I still got the other 4, and so what's the current market rate? What is the price of a basketball? The market rate of a basketball is the last sale price, which is $100. Think about that. $100. So what's the market cap at that point? The market cap is now, it went from $5 to now being $500. There's still 5 basketballs on the planet. I've got 4. That sucker's got one of them. And the market cap, because it's the last sale price, is $500. Now let me ask you this. How much money was put into the ecosystem? I put in 5, and then that other guy put in 100. Like, how much was put in? Was it $500 that was put in? Nowhere near that. A little over 100, right? A little over 100 was actually put in. So what I want you to understand is that the net inflow of cash that goes into crypto, digital assets, XRP, the amount of money that goes in, when you see this market cap, for instance, of $44 billion, way less than $44 billion was put in. What happened is one person bought the product XRP from a person that was willing to sell it. And why would the person buy it at a higher price than what the last person bought it for? Because they believe that in time the price will go up, and that's speculation. And so that's what drives it over time. So understand that the net inflow of cash going into the space is nowhere near what the market cap is. The figure of market cap is largely meaningless. It doesn't really tell you anything. And that's why when I tell you that I believe that XRP can have a market cap one day in the trillions, and some people that don't get this, they think that I just sounds so absurd. I'm like, no, you don't get it. I'm not saying that trillions of dollars are going to flow in. That's not going to be the net inflow of cash. That's what people are going to value it, because at one point, the last person to buy one XRP, one XRP, times the total supply can be in the trillions. That's why. And it's not so absurd once you realize that. And so I'm trying to help you guys understand, get a big picture of like what drives price, what is actually realistic, why are people behaving the way they're behaving as it pertains to the price of XRP. And so that's largely what I want to share with you today. And I think that's the bulk of what I wanted to cover. So if you guys want me to talk about more about market cap and why CoinMarketCap and LiveCoinWatch are absolutely 100% wrong in the way that they're calculating market cap, I'm happy to talk about it further in a future video. Just let me know if you're interested. If not, at some point I'll get to it anyway. But you guys just kind of, I'm trying to gauge the audience here because I don't want to talk about stuff that's going to bore you, because I really appreciate you taking some time to listen to me here. I'm a pretty humble guy, and I don't take any of this for granted. Please know that. Last thing I want to cover here real quickly, and this is unrelated, but I thought it was cool, and I wanted to cover it. This is from dailyhodl.com. This piece titled, "Confirmed, Ripple-backed crypto startup building XRP-based banking app." And I had actually heard about this in Hodor's blog whenever it came out. I don't know if it was a week or so ago, and I don't think I've talked about it yet. But Wheats and Wins company, XRPL Labs, which is funded by Ripple through their Spring initiative, they're developing something really cool here. They're building directly on top of the XRP ledger. And let me read just a couple little bits of this thing, and then I'll link below in case you want to read the whole thing. All right, at a BitTrue community event in Amsterdam, Wheats and Wins unveiled the company's flagship mobile app called Sign. I think it's called Sign. I haven't heard enunciated, but it's spelled Xign, so I'm assuming it's Sign. So anyway, we'll just go with that for the video. Called Sign, the app will be a fully fledged mobile banking platform that allows users to hold and spend euros, dollars, XRP, and other currencies without any help from a financial institution. And here's a quote. This is from Wheats, I believe. Sign will deliver a user experience we know as online banking, not just crypto. So, what it will allow you to do is check your balance and send your funds in any currency, because the XRP ledger can handle any given currency issued on the ledger. We're not building a crypto wallet, we're building a banking app, except without a bank. We're building a banking app based on a digital ledger, based on the XRP ledger, and based on ILP, which is Interledger Protocol. And that is absolutely amazing. I wish them the best, and I hope they can really pull this off. And for those of you that don't know, Wheats and Wins, and he's actually the one that created the XRP tip bot, and that was before he technically formed XRPL Labs. But he's doing a bunch of cool stuff. He's a really just brilliant guy, I think. And it's just the cool stuff. And here's another quote from him. Check this out. In response to the app that I'm talking about here, he said, "It's not for geeks. We know that crypto wallets are for geeks." And then somewhere near the bull run at end of 2017, suddenly 10% of the population here had a crypto wallet or multiple crypto wallets on their apps. It was still a few percent of the population, and most of them were geeks. We're building something that my mother could use and maybe even would want to use. We're going to help users get started with a really secure, user-friendly setup guide in-app. And there's no way you can, pardon my French, and I'm going to bleep it here, F this up. He wrote, there's no way we're going to make it really easy. And that is one of the things, I'll tell you, I don't know about you, but when I jumped into crypto and I was having to copy and paste these weird, strange, really long addresses, crypto destination, and then the tagging, there's an XRP tag. I was like, what is this? Am I staring at hieroglyphs? I don't understand what this is. And it's just not easy to use because, with email at least, you got an email address, you type that in, you know where it's going. And one day, and maybe this is a development of that, maybe they'll solve this, but one day sending crypto needs to be as easy as either text messaging or emailing. And I know that Ripple's kind of working on that too, moving money to, as easy as you send an email today. They say that, they call that the Internet of Value, but still, even outside of that, if you're just doing peer-to-peer crypto transactions, it needs to be substantially easier. And so I love developments like that. But that just goes to show you how early we are in the development of this nascent asset class. We just are. So I think it's all exciting stuff. And I'm going to wrap up the video now. And just to be super clear, since I've said this a few times in the past, but since there are a number of new subscribers now, just to be clear, I'm not a financial advisor, period. I started this channel because I'm genuinely passionate about crypto and XRP. I don't know why. I didn't choose it. I just am. I'm really nuts for it. I just find it genuinely that interesting. And as a result, I decided to start a YouTube channel a year after I jumped into the crypto space. And I'm just an XRP community member. Just understand that. I'm no different than you. I just happen to be putting some content out there because I'm excited about it. I like to share what I know. And I also like to know, I also like to learn from you guys. So that's what it is. So I'm going to wrap up this video by stating, I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea.